Invading the internet, covering Web 2.0, coast to coast, worldwide, and everywhere in between. This is where you put the social in social media. We are Social Blade.
We are so Social Blade, it's not even funny. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Social Blade Show. This is episode number 200 and something, I think. What are we on, Aaron?
43.
285?
43.
43. We're on episode 243. And, no, just 43. Sorry about that. And welcome to you, all of our wonderful guests, all the people that are joining us live online to hear the greatest and the latest in social media. I am one of the co-hosts, as well as no other title allowed in the introductions anymore, J.D. Rucker.
I'm Aaron Ryan.
I'm Jason Ergo.
I'm Jeff Kreider.
And we are joined today by an exceptionally talented and wonderful person who I said earlier, prior to anybody even hearing us, I said, Bridget, you are social media. You know, if we are Social Blade, then Bridget Ayers is social media. Why can I say that? I don't know. Bridget, tell us. Why are you social media? It's my act of putting someone right on the spot.
Wow, what an intro is that?
We're so kind to our guests. I'm just...
My intro was to tell a joke.
Just think about it. We'll ask the question later. You'll have 5 minutes to prove to everyone on this show that you are social media, and without being egotistical or anything like that. But anyway, this week in social media was huge. It was absolutely jam freaking packed. It was very good. From the perspective of Mark Zuckerberg, he zucked everything up as usual, but we'll that later. First, let's go straight into what everybody wants to talk about, at least in the Digg community. That is Digg version 4. Now, for those who don't know, TechCrunch released a video last week about that basically displayed Kevin Rose saying, hey, here is our new features. Here's the things that we're going to be rolling out. This is Digg version 4. This is big. This is huge. This is not Twitter, even though it kind of is in a lot of ways. It's kind of like Facebook, kind of like Twitter, and it's kind of terrifying anyone who's not huge. I could go on for about the next, 6 or 7 hours with a long diatribe about how this is ruining Digg, in my opinion. This is something that even without seeing it, at least the basis, the concept is parts of it are great. Other parts of it, to me, are very hurtful to the smaller sites of the world. It gives the advantages to a lot of other people. I'll go into details of why, but I don't want to start my 6-hour diatribe just yet. First, I want to get everybody else's opinion. Ergo, as the number one, we'll say the most prolific percentage Digg user of all time, next to the illustrious and CEO-ridden Kevin Rose. What do you think about all of this stuff that's going to be happening?
Well, in general, I'm not a huge fan of what they're doing. I think they really had a lot of potential to make things a lot better here, but at least how they're describing it doesn't sound like an altogether good idea for me. If they were doing it more based off of specific habits on the site, like you dig a particular type of story, and you're more likely to be getting more stories like that based off of, keywords or whatever inside the story itself. If it was more smart that way, I think that would work really well. But it seems like what they're doing is they're just copying the whole Facebook model of the people that you are friends with are the ones that you're going to get news stories from. And personally, I don't know. I don't think Digg has first, right now, they don't really have good linkings of people. Facebook sort of does, so they have that going for them. But Digg themselves, they don't know who's who, and you can be following a whole bunch of people on there when this goes through, and who knows if they're going to be putting out really legitimate stories. So in general, I'm not a big fan because I just don't think the method they're doing is going to work here.
So Ergo's take is that Digg is illegitimate. Aaron?
Well, from being fairly new to Digg, and not, going back like Ergo to 2006 or probably even yourself, I don't know. I think that, they need to update. They need to get on board and upgrade and try to fit in with all the things that are going on with Facebook's success and Twitter's as well. So unfortunately, that means that it's going to be a lot of change for a lot of people. And I don't know if I necessarily like that they're going to be not having a front page for and showing the specific people and giving them the credit. I don't like that feature because that's kind of what makes Dig fun and interesting and addicting. But getting more social, I think that's the road they need to head down if they're going to continue being so successful.
Got you. So Ergo's got them as illegitimate. Aaron thinks that they need to be followers, not leaders. Um, Jeff, I know that you're new to Dig, and Bridget, I know that you used to be active on Dig and have not been as active lately. Do either of you have an opinion to weigh in before I lay down the diatribe that I have been threatening for a while? We'll start with Bridget.
You know, I was looking at a story about Digg's numbers from Website Magazine, and they've dropped quite a bit as far as visitors go. And I'm going to have to agree with Ergo. I mean, you need to be innovative if you're going to jump ahead or even compete with Facebook and Twitter. And I just don't know that turning a news aggregator site into a social network. Where's the value proposition? What's going to make me go there as opposed to going to Facebook or Twitter when everything they're offering I can get on other sites plus more? So I don't know that they're going to draw in the people that are dropping off. And that's what they need to do. They do have that loyal core, but how do you get to the masses? And I don't think they're doing anything.
Gotcha. And I actually do have an answer to your question, but before we go to that question, or even the answer from the question of the Bridget, who is social media, let's go to Jeff. And Jeff, you have dug a story before, yes?
Yeah, I actually did my first dig the other day, but I've actually been doing a lot of it over the past couple of days, and I think it's fun. I mean, I wonder why I didn't get into it earlier, but I agree with Bridget and Ergo in the sense that I think they definitely have lost the innovation where, if they just turn it into like everything else, it's going to lose its uniqueness and really, just drive away their core following, which, seems to be really loyal to the Dig, what Dig is. So, while I understand why they're doing it, I mean, they're still kind of in a way I feel selling out.
Gotcha. Okay, so thank you all for your opinions.
Just one thing, Amy in the chat room was saying that Dig used to be social, and when they took away all means of communication between the users on the site, that sort of is what killed it there. And I agree with her on that. Though it wasn't the best way to be social, but they discontinued anything in the past that had anything to do with being social, and now they're trying to bring it back, but without all the real linkings there. So, yeah. Go ahead, JD. Sorry.
Well, no, that's what I was going to say. So that's my.
Can I just say something real quick? I really like Bridget's point, and I agree with that. You have to stay innovative, but at the same time, if Dig did stay the way it is, and integrated Facebook and Twitter and just left it like that, I think that would be great. But them changing it all together, I don't know how that's going to affect people. Again, I don't think any of us really truly do until it rolls out. But I do think that it needs to be social. Just having comments as your means of communicating with other Dig users is boring, and in some senses those comments aren't as much fun as you'd like them to be, especially on a social level. I think a lot of them, the comments that are used within the submissions are very horrible in my opinion, and sometimes it deters people from even actually reading this story. I know it has for me sometimes, because it's just like, okay, what's the point? I'm personally anti-Dig right now, so I'm gonna let you go with it, JD. You go with it.
Well, I don't know if there's a reason to be anti-Dig. This is going to take. I mean, well, I'm sorry. You can be anything you want. You can be anti-American if you want.
Oh,
you're Canadian. Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. I digress. So back to my diatribe. Yes. Okay. So for those who don't know, just brief recap for those who are a little bit who haven't seen the video and stuff like that. So Dig is going to allow certain things that are going to be majorly changed. First, there's going to be a personalized homepage, rather than if you're logged in, instead of seeing the top stories of the day, the top stories of that particular moment, you're actually going to get to see your own personalized based upon your friends and the things that your friends are digging and all of that good stuff. That's major change number one. which obviously will diversify the traffic. It's not. I wouldn't say it's going to cut the traffic by any means, because I do think they will be able to see an increase in users, at least in the beginning. That initial burst will help them to drive more traffic, and the traffic will be split up rather than 120 to 140 stories a day getting a ton of traffic and everybody else getting the shaft. It'll be more like there's going to be, those 120 to 140, probably more, I would say, more promotions to the quote unquote front page, which is now going to be the top news page, but you will get a nice burst of traffic from the other stories. Even if you get 20, 30, 50 digs, you'll be able to, right now 50 digs on a normal story might get you 30, 40, 80, 100 views, whereas now I think if you get 50 digs and it's a good story and you're at you have good quality content, and it's going to be able to beat or meet the dig algorithm for even the personalized aspect of it, you should be able to get 3, 4, 5, 600, maybe even 1,000, very similar to what's happening on Reddit. Okay, so that part's out of the way. Now, the aspect of that kills me, aspect number one that kills me, is the idea of the feed. I know why they're doing it, and what Alexis over at Reddit said, and what was subsequently attacked by Michael Arrington at TechCrunch, but we won't even get into that whole thing because I've already done that on a different show. So, but what Alexis said was that basically, you know what? I'm not even going to get into that because that ticks me off too.
Hey everybody, Kevin Rose here.
Kevin, I have a question for you. If you are going to take your site and make it to where people can automatically feed, let's say a New York Times or a CNN or a TechCrunch or a Mashable, answer this for me, sir. Tell me how a site such as, socialblade.com/show, dinky little site here, we get 4 or 5 posts a week compared to hundreds a day. How are we supposed to compete? How can we put our quality content onto the front page? And forgive me for going all Kirk on you, but I have to, because here's the thing. Just as an
example, when you dig a story, all of your followers will get that story at the top of their My News.
Forget the followers, Kevin. Forget the followers. This is this is not Twitter. Okay, this is not Facebook. You are Digg. You are a news aggregator. Don't worry about who's following who. Focus on getting the best quality news out to the masses of people, your users, the people that have built this site to what it is. Yeah. Somebody either hang up on him or make him say something else that I can respond to, please.
The hottest stories as dug by your friends.
Yeah, hottest stories, here's a hot story, and here's a perfect example of how the new Digg is going to hurt us. We made a decision. Ergo was on the show, or Ergo was on the ball. Sorry, he's already on the show. It's his show. Ergo was on the ball yesterday and noticed the follows in common. He happened to be for some strange reason staring at Mr. Babyman's Twitter account. We don't but he was there, and as he was staring and analyzing and wishing to be Mr. Babyman, he looked at the thing, and that was a joke, Ergo, by the way. I know you would never want to be Mr. Babyman. He noticed the "you both follow" feature. That was beautiful. It's wonderful. You can see it there. We posted this story really quick. We got the screenshots. We did the research. We checked the tweets. We searched it. We then sent it out to Mashable, to Crunch, to Read Write Web. Over an hour later, each one of them does post a story about it. Over an hour after we post ours, but we have no chance. Why? Why do we have no chance? Because we're a small little publisher. Doesn't matter if we had the better screenshots. Doesn't matter if our story was well written by a very, very handsome young 23-year-old man named, well, we don't even know what his name is. But the point is that we had the story way first, and yet they get the front page traffic. Why? Because they're the majors. They're the big guys, and that's what you're catering to. And so that's I'm going to stop right there because I think everybody gets the point about that. Kevin, you're killing me here, brother, killing me. But I'll figure out a way to get around it. Now, the last part that throws me way off. Crowd, how are we doing on time? I'm going to continue the last part next week because the next part is actually the longest part, and we're already like halfway through the show, and all I've done is talk about Digg all day. So anyway, yeah, how you doing? If those who don't know, yes, I am very passionate about this. I take a lot of criticism for my passions, and I don't handle it very well. Luckily, there are ways for people to deal with criticism in social media. Aaron?
Yes, there's tons of ways you can do it, but recently, let's just start here. Previously, we've spoken here on the Social Blade show and have discussed a time or two on how to deal with criticism in social media. And after reading an article by Driven Media, they reflected 4 points that could save you from being in hot water. I have to say I tend to agree with 3, but not the 4th, and I'll share the 3 with you that I agree with. So if something happens, and I'm just kind of washing the Digg conversation off a little bit here because we kind of transferred really quickly into this, but
It's called
respond quickly. So
the
it's called like, here, Aaron, bam, go. So if you receive a negative comment, and this applies to whether you're in business or personal, so keep this in mind. It's not just businesses. So respond quickly if someone leaves a negative comment, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, and make sure, of course, it's not a troll, which for those who may not know what a troll is, and I'm sure with the mass majority of people in this room, they do. But if you don't, a troll is somebody who just writes something or puts a link that has nothing to do with you or relevant to what you do. So, don't be haste about it. And you want to be quick, but you don't want to be haste, and you want to take a moment to think about your wording. So, and of course your tone, especially when you're writing in text. Number 2, be willing to change. So sometimes it can be hard. I can agree with that, to not become defensive when someone maybe, in fact, sharing a negative opinion or a thought about what you may be working on or about your business. However, it's so important when responding, you need to think long term, not for that short moment and that short fused moment, but long term, and make sure that you are willing to change and keep an open mind. This may also cause you to actually have to follow through. So don't just say you're going to change, do it. And we've said that before here on the Social Blade Show.
Do it.
Number 3, I think, is very important, and we agree with, don't we? Do not argue. Arguing on social networks is not fun. So at no point whatsoever should you argue with someone who has left you a negative comment. This does not mean you cannot express your opinion, especially on your personal profile, but you are treading a fine line when it comes to your business profile. So simply think solution instead of thinking about arguing. Think solution. And number 4, the 4th one is what I don't agree with, and I do want to hear your feedback, guys, on this. So number 4, they suggested for you to actually use humor. Now, why I disagree personally is because, for business, number 1, even if someone in a personal situation were to use humor, so no matter business or personal for humor, my best advice would be to steer clear of humor when someone takes the time to actually put a negative comment on your profile, whether it is, again, for personal or business. And that's simply because you should take them seriously. You should value their opinion and not make a joke out of it. And sometimes, especially through text, your way of humor may not be the same type of humor as the next. So take them seriously and do what you can to help fix the issue. Now, I'm like so diggish right now. We reiterated some of these steps to help you think outside the Facebook and Twitter box. The more social media leaks into your offline lives, which we do tend to see more of each day, the more that we say online starts to matter. So people that are using social networks to find out what other people are like and using them in situations to even rent housing or hire an employee. This should already be a standard way of responding to clients or people who have liked your pages or follow you in a business aspect, since the chances of you doing anything else offline would probably be slim to none. So just remember that as we become more social, the less private we will be, and other people will be looking into your social networks to see who you really are. Now, again, do we think that humor is a good way to respond to a negative comment, as well as, is there any other tips that we can give when criticism arises?
I definitely think humor is a horrible one.
Really?
Because you can't take context or read context really well in text, especially if it's on Facebook or Twitter. But I think a tip that I would add would be ask questions. So if someone's criticizing you, I would offer up your solution, like what you think you should do to improve, but then also ask them, say, hey, what do you think we should do to improve? Or here's what I think we should do to improve. What do you think of that? So not only that, but you're also engaging that person in trying to find a solution to, improve your business or yourself.
Beautiful.
The only thing I would say, humor, yeah, okay, if it's really something that is a valid comment, then yeah, being humorous isn't necessarily a good thing. But if it's something that someone's just trolling you with, I think being humorous and responding to that is actually a good idea, at least in my opinion.
Bridget, I want to hear what Bridget has to say.
I actually disagree with. Well, I disagree with the act quickly, because I think that sometimes people don't think before they actually do stuff on. So, when I'm teaching people about Twitter, think before you tweet. Sometimes you're reactionary rather than really looking at it. And I did like what Jeff said. You need to ask questions. You need to find out why the person actually made that comment. Doing a little research on why somebody is making a negative comment. Do they make a lot of negative comments? Is it a valid point? I'm always impressed with companies that go that extra mile. You see it on Yelp all the time. A company will get a bad review, but then they contact the person and say, come back in. Well, you'll get better service. We're sorry, or try the product again. And then the person goes back and gives them a better review. And then on the humor side, it really depends on your company. It depends on you. Some people use humor really well, and I think sometimes it can diffuse a situation. And then sometimes it's inappropriate, but that's just a judgment call.
Exactly, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, and to kind of build off of what she was saying is sometimes when customers or other people see a negative review or a negative comment, and then you reaching out to fix that, I mean, that is almost better than a good comment or a good review.
Absolutely.
What in the world are you drinking, Bridget?
I can't tell you that because it's illegal in about 10 states.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we were keeping it real on the Social Blade Show.
No problem.
Speaking of product endorsement, I'd like to talk about our wonderful, beautiful, and gorgeous sponsor, HotHardware.com. The sponsor himself, Dave Altavilla. I had the chance to meet him when I was in Boston a few weeks ago, and I failed. Sorry, Dave. So he offered to take me out to lunch. Instead, he took Amy Vernon out to lunch, and she got to eat my breakfast for me, and all of that good stuff. But with that said, sorry, HotHardware.com. Hot Hardware is the site, as you can see on your screen right now, is the site where you can get the latest, the greatest, the reviews, the hottest tech tested and burned in a way that only Hot Hardware can deliver, because they get the inside scoop. Dave will sometimes hit me up and say, "Hey man, I can't post it yet, but we have some big news coming off embargo at midnight tonight, and you might want to get ready to hop on your Best Buy or wherever to buy this super cool gizmo gadget." I don't actually understand any of the stuff that he says, but I know that it's real, and I know that it's important because smarter people than me are able to understand what he's saying. And Ergo has said on many occasions that that the stuff that he puts in there is really good. It's kind of funny because I'm looking at the HTC Droid as we speak, like not literally during the show, but anyway, hothardware.com. Check it out. Check it out. Test it. Read it. Share it with your friends and cohorts and loved ones, and all of that wonderful, beautiful stuff. Because Hot Hardware is wonderful and beautiful. So too are people in college. I myself, I'm a college student, and I have been for.
Oh boy.
It's as long as Ergo keeps me small on the screen, then I can. Here, let me back up a little bit. Yes, I am. I'm 21 years old. I'm a junior in college. It's a wonderful thing to be young and ignorant and all that good stuff, and completely empathetic, like 40% of the other kids around me. Right, Jeff?
Yeah, a recent study conducted by the University of Michigan concluded that today's college students are 40% less empathetic than those of the 80s and 90s. They attributed this to the influx of callous reality TV shows and the astronomical growth of social networking and texting, both technologies that allow people to tune out others when they don't want to feel engaged. The researchers actually wrote that young adults today compromise are comprised of one of the most self-concerned, competitive, confident, and individualistic cohorts in recent history. Then they're referring to the me generation, or the millennials. They note that the most sizable empathy drop came after 2000, as social networks such as Facebook and MySpace began to flourish. And I quote, physically distant online environments allowed people to lionize their own lives and functionally create a buffer between individuals, which makes it easier to ignore others' pain or even at times inflict pain upon others. So I open this up to everybody. So do you guys agree with the study that college kids are less empathetic to the increased use of new media?
I don't really care.
You're one of those 95%.
Oh.
I have to say that's pretty ridiculous. I think, that's like saying, video games cause children to be less empathetic because and more accustomed to violence. And those things happen. Yes, I get that. I understand that. And then crazies come out of it, and people, certain small percentages happen. But at the same time, we have to think about, this is a way of interacting and engaging, and let's not turn it south. I mean, I don't think it can cause you to be less empathetic to use social networks. I think you look at Twitter, and people are helping each other out all the time. You look at the various social networks, and there's charities that are helping other people out, and just the random person that will retweet or start up a cause. So I don't know if that study's exactly accurate. That's 40%. That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with it, especially someone who just graduated from college this past May. I mean, I can totally see it. I mean, though there are a lot of people within, the communities who are, really really embody social media and really like want to do good things over these channels. I mean, a majority of them just use it like everyday life and a platform to, make fun of others, but not be face to face in it. Especially, if you like, I use Foursquare up at school, when I check into like classes, and, you just view the tweets around the campus, and I mean, there are people just making fun of each other and all that stuff. And it's like, what the hell? I mean, you guys don't understand, why these channels are available to you. And you obviously think it's just another way of, goof dick and all kinds of other stuff.
I'm not going to ask what that means. Ergo, what are your thoughts?
I kind of agree maybe with Aaron here. I guess I don't have the facts, obviously, and I was wondering, I was trying to look on here to see if it said who did this study, and if there were a reputable survey place or whatever.
The survey was done by Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg, okay. But I did see that at the bottom of the article, there actually is a little place to take a survey. It looks like there's a whole bunch of questions here, though, so I was going to do it on the air, but there's a lot of questions. So you can try it. We'll link this in the show notes, so you can take the survey and see if I guess it's the same survey that the college students took.
I'm going to think of something. I'm going to feel an emotion right now about this, and Bridget, I want you to empathize with me on this.
Bridget, that's your cue, I think.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm supposed to empathize now, or were you going to say something?
That was kind of a segue. That was an attempted, failed segue to use. Well, the empathization of the youth in America is say something smart. I'm just here to say dumb things. You're supposed to come in and make me look good, and I'm just going to sit here and make funny faces. Go ahead.
They always come out with new studies, and because I'm somebody, and it looks like my video's gone. In a great pose, by the way. Did you see that last pose? I think you should leave that up there. It's like the thing from Real Genius, like I'm in that house waiting for the whatever. Anyway, they're always coming out with new studies saying this or that. Children are angrier than they used to be. ADD is every child in America has ADD. I think that you could come up with statistics about just about anything. And I don't know if you guys remember being in school. Part of being a kid is being a little narcissistic, and especially if you're privileged in college, takes a while to grow up. Guys take a little bit longer than girls.
Hey,
Isn't that right, Aaron?
Whoa, what's going on?
Totally agree.
So I
go on, Bridget. Keep going.
I want to see where this study was done, how many students, what the demographics were, what colleges they went to, and I want to see their social profiles too. I want to see what these people look like on Facebook. They probably have like 3 or 4 friends. I mean, you really have to dive deeper than this to prove a case.
Well, it was
what
14.
They did was they examined 72 studies of American college students with the mean age of 20 from 1979 to 2009, and they all participated in the same test, which is like a reactivity index, which looked at the empathy concern and then perception checking.
Well, bearing in mind the reality of it is, and this is to Bridget's point as well as to I think Jeff's point as well. Everybody's point. Everybody agrees. Almost everybody. I think the last time we checked, it was 94% don't care about the 40% who don't care. So, but one thing that a lot of people cared about, 30,000 people to be, well, not exact, but to be at least. Yeah, that'd be funny if it was exactly 30,000 people. That would be funny.
36,099 actually.
Is it really? They have an actual number now? You figured that out? Did you count?
It's actually right on the site here. What you're referring to is Quit Facebook Day. So 36,000.
Did it?
What's that?
Who quit Facebook?
Yeah, raise your hand if you quit Facebook. Hold on, let me put this down so you can see. Oh, JD's raising his hand. You quit Facebook? You deleted your account?
I deleted an account. I deleted an account. Yes, I did.
Did you?
An account.
Maybe. And who knows?
So there's like 400 million or so accounts on Facebook, and how many of them are yours, JD? No. Basically.
Yeah.
Basically, Quit Facebook Day was this event set up to be on May 31st of this year, and it was sort of set up to protest a lot of the privacy issues and other things that people don't like about Facebook. And yeah, they got 36,099 people to confirm to quit. It doesn't actually say if they actually did quit, but they at least signed up on here and said that they will quit, which. To me, okay, compared to the number of people on Facebook, it's a very, very small amount. But still, 36,000 people, I think, is a lot of people to do something like this. But yeah, if you look at how many it actually is compared to how many are on Facebook, it's about 6 1,000ths of a 1% of users that actually did quit. And a lot of it, I think, it didn't at first. It didn't get a lot of press before, but then also. Kind of one of the main reasons that it also wasn't quite as big of a deal is, the recent changes that Facebook just did to the privacy. So they are at least working. And Mark Zuckerberg, we talked about this in last week's show, got up on stage and talked a whole lot about this too, that they're fixing some of the privacy issues. But yeah,
we did invite Mark to the show, and he had accepted. But then Bridget, we had to bump Mark. Bridget said she would do it. So.
He was still piecing himself together from D8.
There you go.
Well, my question to you, Ergo, when it says that they deleted their account, is that they went to go and delete it? Or, I mean, it takes 2 weeks to delete it, and usually in that 2 weeks, people want to come back because they're so addicted.
Right, well...
So I don't know if that's necessarily they actually went through and deleted them, or...
Again,
went to delete and actually click the delete button, but if they actually followed through with deleting.
No, Aaron, again, I think this is sort of like one of those online partitions thing, you can write your name on here and say you're going to do it, but
you can't.
36,000 people said they clicked this button here. Social Blade.
Oh, it's probably just the 99 at the end there. 0.99. Because honestly, I mean...
See, look, now it went up to 36,106.
So you're saying it's 99, give or take 30,000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say seriously. I mean, a lot of people they do that quick judgment and they just click a button. I mean, we all do it with the like buttons on Facebook. I don't think that many people quit Facebook altogether. I really don't. I think it's probably 99 or less. To go through the actual deletion on Facebook, that takes a process of 2 weeks. And Facebook sets it up that way, so you have that 2 weeks to really think about what you're doing.
Or
you can deactivate it, but deleting is completely different.
Did you guys, speaking of the opposite of that, joining Twitter, did you see that George Bush actually joined Twitter?
It's not really George Bush. That's actually me. No, but as far as deleting accounts, there was actually the report. This came from Mashable. The report was that there was actually about 250 million people who tried to delete, but only 99 were actually able to figure out how to delete their accounts. So there's just set up, whatever. Okay, I like it. I love it. Whatever. Yeah.
Which by the way, Ergo, you said that he started. You corrected yourself with saying he started a page on Facebook, but he didn't start that page on Facebook. If you go and you actually go to the page,
It wasn't
George
him?
Bush did not start that page. It's spoken as someone else is writing for it. But man, he's got a lot of people liking his page, his supposed page. Not much of a story there. So.
Well, I heard, JD, I heard in order to delete your Facebook profile, you had to go on a date with Mark Zuckerberg.
Right, and there were plenty of takers, but they were. Never mind. I'm not going to go there. Oh, not banned on the web on Tuesday nights. This is Social Blade Show. Social Blade Show. Social Blade Show.
It sent you to Mark's eHarmony account.
Exactly. Speaking of dating, no, I don't know. That was just my attempt at a segue. A bad attempt. Bridget Ayers, social media specialist. You are social media. Welcome to the Social Blade Show. Have you been thoroughly embarrassed yet?
Wait, you do know I do that show Banned on the Web, right?
Ah, good point.
Yeah.
So nothing we could say could make her blush.
No.
How are you doing, Bridget? How are you doing today?
You know, I'm doing really well. I am.
Even despite one of the Golden Girls dying, you're doing well. Just want to make that clear.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, but you know, we still got one funny one.
Well, thank you for being a friend. Okay, Aaron.
Yes. That made me feel so warm inside.
I know.
I brainwashed I tried to brainwash you before the show, and it seems to be working.
It definitely worked. I've been singing it in my head the whole time. I can't even form a sentence. I'm so stuck on Golden Girls, especially the attractive one. So Bridget, you are the president, the top honcho at Get Smart Web. Is that correct?
Yes, I am the head geek.
So, as the head geek, what could you tell us what Get Smart Web is, first off, before we start getting into the hard-hitting social media news?
We're digital strategists. I can't even say it. We do digital marketing for companies. So we teach people how to use technology to market to their current database and to grow on the internet and beyond.
Nice. What sites do you focus on?
Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
We don't necessarily focus on one site in particular. I mean, of course, everybody wants to be on Facebook, so that's why it's about to hit 500 million people. So Facebook and Twitter are pretty good sites to put people on, and of course YouTube for syndicating videos. But if you want longer videos, then we throw you on other sites. But we focus on niche sites and business sites and article writing and press releases. So it goes beyond just your basic Facebook, Digg, Twitter, LinkedIn, Reddit mix. We go into target markets. That's what we're looking at. We're looking for that targeted audience and how to reach them.
Nice. Okay, so take the business part out of it. We'll get back to that part. Take business out of it, and take the basics out of it. Let's assume that the audience here on the Social Blade Show is relatively cutting edge. And take your time. Don't rush on this question, but give me a tidbit of information that even an advanced user should know. I've got one, and the reason I say this, let me preface the question real quick before you answer. I learned today about a service on Facebook that solves 1 trillion of my problems from a business perspective. With our clients, I had no idea it existed, and I was so embarrassed that a client had to point it out to me. Hey, what do you guys do with this? And I went there and I'm like, wow, nothing. And then I looked at it like, holy cannolis, man. Where was this 6 months ago? And he's like, it's been around for a long time. And so I was embarrassed. But the point of the story was that I learned something. I consider myself very immersed in social media, and I learned something new today. So we're going to make it a splendid day. I want you to teach me something else and teach everyone in this room something that we don't know about social media, courtesy of Get Smart Web. Go.
Something you don't know about. Well, Judy, I'm going to say that I learn something new every day myself. I think that's part of being in it. And on Facebook, you should be learning something new. I mean, there are so many applications that are being developed, and I know that they're cracking down on some of the apps, but you can basically create a mini website now with your business page. I mean, you have a shopping tab, you have an interactive tab now where people can live chat with you. You can basically turn that page into its own website with the FBML app. So there are a lot of things out there. I will say, though, what we focus on is definitely the conversation, but we're also really focused on location-based, I mean, Foursquare and mobile marketing. So we want companies to not put all their eggs in the Facebook basket. And you know you can export your contacts off of Facebook, right?
Thank you. See,
You can.
Said everything you
teach
said
us?
up to that. I was like, no, I already know that. No,
How do you
I already
export
know
your
that.
contacts? Can you show us?
Yeah.
You know,
I did not know.
it's actually Yahoo. It's Yahoo that does it, and I don't know why nobody has talked about it, because that one night where Facebook opened the emails and you could see everybody's email, it used to be the emails were images, and that's why you couldn't take them off. But now they're not; they're text. And Yahoo, and I don't know why Google doesn't have this or Gmail doesn't, has a feature where when you import your friends, it has a Facebook button. And I just did it last week again with another client. You can only take them off of your profile page. You cannot take them off of your fan page, but you can export all of your contacts off of your profile page. So you export them into Yahoo, and then from Yahoo you upload them into LinkedIn and Twitter and find them everywhere else. And then there's also an app that's on Facebook where you can then go and look through your contacts and get their birthdays, their location. You can get other things about them also. So you can build a nice little database.
Just to be clear, by Yahoo, do you mean Yahoo Messenger, or where on Yahoo?
I mean just your Yahoo email account.
Yahoo email, okay.
Yeah. So when you go in there, it should say, import. And when you import, there should be a Facebook button, and you just upload them.
Beautiful.
And that's just not leaving your contacts on Facebook. We don't know where Facebook will be 5 years from now. You need to bring them home.
Bring it home. Nice. MySpace. Is there a future? Is it going to be something that do you recommend it to your clients? And I mean, is it going to go anywhere? It's got like billions of users, but nobody actually uses it anymore. What are your thoughts on MySpace?
Cut out a little bit. Did you say, do I think Facebook's going anywhere?
No, not at all.
Thoughts on MySpace?
Answer the question. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. MySpace. Is there a MySpace?
MySpace. Do I think MySpace?
Yeah.
You know what? MySpace, okay, it doesn't have the numbers that Facebook has, and I don't know. The demographics are really young on MySpace, and again, it is about your targeted audience. So it's young. It's still pretty military. It's low to moderate income. So it really depends on where your target market is. They still get tens of millions of visits a month. So if you have a product that does really well with that demographic, then there's no reason not to create a profile. Like we're working with a skateboard company, and they do really well on MySpace because they go after a younger demographic. So they have tens of thousands of followers, and those followers watch videos, and they share things, and they buy skateboards.
Do you
use it?
Do you skate yourself?
Do I skateboard myself? I wouldn't call what I do skateboarding. I would call it falling down. But I do roll and fall down really well. Really well.
All right, again, let's take the business aspect out of it. Let's focus, turn back towards Bridget herself.
Oh, wait, before we do that, I just want to ask her a quick question.
No, you can't, but go ahead.
But I'm going to anyways. Okay. Bridget, okay, so you were talking about certain things that can export addresses. What would you suggest to a client who's reluctant Because even though, I mean, social media is really taking a great place within businesses, especially right now, but certain industries are very reluctant. So what would you suggest to say, this would be a great way to get people across your social networks by using this app or this service?
You know what? Again, really, we dive deep into a company's marketing platform, who their audience is, what their goals are, what time frames they have. And I don't recommend that everybody get on Facebook or everybody get on YouTube. But what I can show, I spoke in front of the construction industry, actually, 200 people in that industry. And that's really hard because though they have technology in their business, they don't really use technology like computers and things like that. But if you can show a company that, let's see where your demographic is and let's see what they're talking about and give them examples of companies that are doing it well, large and small. So look at Lennar. I mean, they're a builder and they have a humongous following. Half the people that follow them don't know that they're a developer. They just like what they talk about. And so you have to show them examples. You have to show them why it's worth time. And we also show them, if you tried to get to these numbers, traditional marketing, you wouldn't be able to do it. This allows you to go further. It's basically, if I were talking in front of a crowd of 10,000 people, would I talk to that crowd using just my normal voice, or would I use a microphone or a bullhorn? And that's what the internet is. It's taking your message and it's giving it a microphone. It's giving it a bullhorn. So who do you want to get to?
I was waiting. I thought it was coming when you said that. I thought, do I use my normal voice or do I use my high pitched voice or do I use manly voice? I was like, what? Is she gonna do like voice changes on live on the show? But you didn't do it. So sorry. Go ahead. Give us your manly voice while you're at it.
Hey.
Hi.
No, I can't do that. That's a private voice. Yeah.
It's a private voice.
That's a private voice.
Oh, so
Hey, this is Bridget Hirsch.
Thanks, Aaron. You speak a lot at various places. Pick out, I know you've been you travel the country, you talk at these various places. If you could pick out one place where you could say, wow, I cannot believe that I just spoke at boom, or I can't believe that I'm going to be speaking at boom. What's the most amazing place you've ever spoken at? Have you ever done Madison Square Garden, for example?
No, I flashed at Madison Square Garden, but I wouldn't call that actually, like a keynote speaker thing.
Video or it didn't happen? What's the best one?
Video or it didn't happen, Bridget?
I don't know. I mean, I love speaking, and I actually love teaching people. So I did get to speak at International Career Day for UCSD and United Nations Association, and that was just fun because it's a graduating college students who are narcissistic, but I didn't know that at the time. But it was actually fun to talk to them about how they could use social media, one, to take down all that stuff that they had posted while they were in college, and then two, to use it to get a better job or to beat out the competition. So they were really excited about it. So that was actually a lot of fun to kind of jump out and talk to them. I like that.
So when you tell people, yes, I can come speak there, they say, where have you spoken? No, I've spoken in the United Nations. I bet you that can be pretty impressive.
Well, remember, it's United Nations Association, so they're all over.
It's all about how you say it, okay? You don't say, I got to speak at RaffleCon with Muhammad Salim, Amy Vernon, and Andrew Sorsini a few weeks ago, and it was at Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It was in class 101 in some building, and so when if anybody ever asked me that question, it's like, so what have you, what's your best speaking? Well, I mean, I did speak at MIT once, and that was thought provoking. We got some excellent questions.
I was impressed when you told me.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's all in the presentation. You say no, yeah, I got to speak at the United Nations. I'm sorry, what'd you say? The United Nations? So you just do it like that and then move on to the next question. Everybody's going to be, ooh, she spoke at the
I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I don't even know what company it is, but I think it's just a PSA. They have the advertisements for the to tobacco companies or something, and they say, "How would you like 400,000 people to die of your product?" The same type of awkward pause there. So you got to just do the same type of thing like that.
Way to throw in some comedy.
Sorry.
Jason Argo, give me a hand. No, just kidding. No, it's funny because Jason.
He'll be here all week.
Jason talks about. We here all week. Jason talks about. A couple weeks ago, he's like, look, I'm go to NASA TV, I'm on it. So now Jason can say, he does a lot of videos. He does a video every day, and he can say, yes, I do videos for NASA. Because he was in the audience at NASA when they launched. So he's, it's all a matter of positioning, Anyway, I'm sorry.
Well, they interviewed me on that too, but that's beside the point.
See, that just adds
Wow.
legitimate.
I will say though, that was a lot of fun, but and this kind of goes back to the humor. I was speaking at an event, and I didn't pay attention to who the sponsors were of that event.
Oh.
I was just I already prepared the talk, and I show examples of good social media and bad social media. And I compared, of course, like everybody else, Comcast, because they do it well, but Cox and Time Warner do not do social media very well. They actually don't control their brand. Other people do. And if you look on Twitter, the things you see about Cox are Cox sucks, and Time Warner fail, and Time Warner sucks, and Comcast, you see Comcast cares and all of this. So I had this big presentation, this PowerPoint, and as I'm walking around before the event, I see that Cox is a major sponsor of the event. And so I had this PowerPoint of them, and when I saw the people, I was like, oh my God, you work for Cox. And they're like, yeah, we're a sponsor. And I'm like, oh, that's why your name is all over the table and the banners. Oh my God. So I actually told them, I said, by the way, my PowerPoint presentation says you suck. And they looked at me, I'm like, I am so sorry. So they said, well, can you skip through it fast? I'm like, well, not really, because it's actually, pretty relevant to this conversation. I said, but let me see what I can do. So I did take them out, but as I was up there speaking, I got the two reps' names, and I said, listen, I'm going to tell you right now that Cox was in my presentation, and I took them out because I didn't want to hurt their feelings since they are a major sponsor and they're paying me for this. So, but they have promised that they will go fix their brand after this talk. So used a little humor, still gave them props, but yeah, it said Cox sucks all over Twitter.
See, you didn't have to go through the whole detail. You could have just said, oh, really? And when those slides are up there, you should say, and then I was flashing at Madison Square Garden. I got video. And then get next slide. On, then it gives up. Never mind. I can go. I'm stopping at this point. I have not been watching the chat room, so please, any questions from my co-host, any questions from the audience, if somebody jumps in there and says, well, we have a question from somebody or another. That's you, Ergo. Aaron. Jeff.
I do have a question. So Bridget, so if somebody is new and they're in regards to business sense and they're new to social media, what advice would you first give them?
If they're new to social media, I would say, one, you need to understand the portals before you get on there. The biggest problem with Facebook is that people don't they don't understand it before they start getting on there. And the second thing is that everything on the internet is public. You never ever put anything on the internet out, because even if it's locked down, even if it seems like it's not. So you treat the internet like you would any other marketing piece. You only put things on there that you want people to see. So start small, take it slow, learn, maybe take a couple classes, figure out what you're going to do, and treat it like a business marketing endeavor, not a social, I'm just there to socialize. I'm there to engage, and I'm there to talk and listen, but it's also part of my business. So you got to treat it that way.
Beautiful. Next.
Yeah, one question I got for you is, one of my main goals for my business over the next few months is to really get us up and going on Foursquare and really utilizing that to connect to people. How are you, selling to businesses that Foursquare is a viable way to, connect with their potential customers?
Well, again, it does depend on the business, and we look at both Foursquare and Yelp. Yelp is trying to compete a little bit with Foursquare now that they have that check-in feature. So on Foursquare, honestly, what we do with the businesses is, depending on what the business is, we show them, their competitors on there, how much people are talking. And the big thing about Foursquare is you got to treat it just like anything else. You got to reward people for talking about you or visiting. So you should be rewarding your mayors, rewarding your badge winners, so they keep talking about you in your network. So if you have a good Facebook following and you're pushing on Foursquare, that your Facebook people and your Foursquare people, they're connecting the two. So in company newsletters, you talk about Foursquare and that you can become a mayor, how to check in from your phone, how to connect Foursquare to your Facebook. So you basically teach your target audience, your database, how you want them to use those tools and how you want them to promote you. So, and honestly, even small businesses, I have a couple of businesses I didn't think would do that well with it that are just loving it. They're doing really well. So you just got to get in there and have fun with it. And Yelp, I absolutely love Yelp now. I really do. Yelp is a great, if you understand the community and you get in there, and just like anything else, you start getting to know people, you can really, really blow up with Yelp. And Yelp will get you first page placement. You can do events on Yelp that'll get you first, on the front page of Google. Yelp is awesome.
So I have a question, actually. It's specific to Foursquare now, along those lines.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we know the benefit of users checking in if they can get discounts at places, but have you actually heard any testimonials from businesses saying that it's actually helping them? Anything like that? Like, do they
that it's actually helping them?
Yeah.
Well, just spreading the word. So somebody, and again, it's about promotion. I don't know if you guys have you heard of proximity marketing?
Yes.
So they have those Wi-Fi routers. Well, we have Wi-Fi routers, but they also have Bluetooth routers. So you can actually put a Bluetooth router in your, say, brick and mortar store, and then detect the Bluetooth around you, and that can help you with your text messaging and your mobile marketing.
Those things.
So getting these businesses, for instance, go ahead.
Yeah, no, those are the things. If you walk by something, you'll get a text or a message on your phone saying blah blah blah. If it's in the area, I've got.
Yeah, text to win.
Yeah, I've got
discounts and things like that. So what we've also done for some of them, so in that same idea, is again, let's say you have your shop and they're watching people checking in at different places. Okay, so you have to connect with a lot of people. So that's the thing on Foursquare, start connecting. And then what you do is you just start talking to those people. Oh, wow, you're right down the street from us. Come down and grab a cookie. Things like that. And so we've had a couple businesses that have done that have really gotten onto Foursquare, and just like Facebook, just started the conversation. Oh, you've been there, I have too. And I've actually gotten clients that hadn't tried them out before to come in and try them out.
Great.
So it's just how you really know about those different networks. I don't even know. I'm not even on Foursquare very often. I don't check in very well. I always get. And yet I've got something like, I don't know, 600, 700, 800 friends on. I don't even know how many friends I have on there. So it gets viral pretty quick. And they're all over, but I can see all the local people. I love GPS-based tools. I love to see where people are at. I'm a stalker.
Yeah, social location tools are really neat. I think they're definitely going to be, gaining popularity. And what's interesting about Foursquare and like Koala is, not only are you have to teach, businesses how to use it, but sometimes you have to teach customers on how to use it, like you were saying. It's that idea of, because not a whole lot of people know how to use Foursquare and the benefits of it, and that it is it is really fun to use, especially when you have a bunch of people who are following you, or you have friends, see what's going on, what others are up to. But in terms of business, it's kind of weird because people, might get a little creeped out that, they know they're down the street from you and just, hey, come get a cookie from us. It's like, well, hey, what the hell? But it's all about the approach.
So and that'd be funny. You're like, you have a candy store, and then your kid's cell phone walks by, and you see a text. You pick up your kid's text that says, "Hey, I got candy for you. I'm right behind you." Um, that would suck. So anyway, Bridget Ayers, you are social media, and I said in the beginning that you'd have to declare or define why you are social media. Now, I'm not going to hold you to that verbally, at least. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have you, if you can, describe what social media is in your own words in a blog post that you'll have to be posting on the socialblade.com/show blog. Yeah, sometime this week. That way, I'll meet my responsibility for blogging for the week. But that's beside the point. Um, you guys,
You didn't read in the small print.
I said get
GD.
it. That's what you guys said. You said to get it done. So yeah, that's how we're gonna get it done one way or the other. Wow, we went so over in time. It's not even funny, but it's okay because we had some interesting stuff. I wanted to get everybody going to follow us, friend us, let us stalk you on Social Blade. We're not on Foursquare yet because we don't actually have a location. We're kind of in the ether, floating around in hyperspace. We are everywhere. We are Social Blade. But we are on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, and you can find us there. Twitter.com/Social Blade, Facebook.com/Social Blade, YouTube.com/ you guessed it, Social Blade.
Invading the internet, covering Web 2.0, coast to coast, worldwide.
Exactly. We are invading the internet, covering Web 2.0, coast to coast, worldwide, and everywhere in between, and all that good stuff. You can get SMS alerts. SMS alerts are available, and for those who don't know what SMS stands for, Ergo?
Simple it's a text message. I think it's like simple message. You threw me there.
No one knows.
It's all about curveballs.
Simple
It's SMS.
Yes, this is short message service. There you
Short
go.
message service. And ours will be short, and it will not be that long. And you can go to j.mp/subus. That's j.mp, no dub, just j.mp/subus, SUBUS. Sign up. You can sign up for your favorite shows, such as Ask Outcast, the Band on the Web show, Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock. Outcast show is at 5 o'clock Pacific time on Tuesday nights as well. And Band on the Web is Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. These are all our partner shows. So, Drill Down has moved from Sundays finally back to Wednesdays. Thank you so much. Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. All of these things you can get SMS alerts to let you know when, where, how, who, and what, and all that good stuff, so that you can watch it from your cell phone if you want to. By the way, guys, and I thank you, Amy. We're going to be working on one for you, but we want everybody to start suggesting guests. This is getting to the point to where this is your show. The guest, the audience, I should say, this is your show as much as it is ours. So if you have an idea for a guest, please go straight to our blog and suggest one. If you want to write for our blog, you can do that as well, and that's where you contact Erin Ryan herself, and her contact information is on her profile on the blog. You can check out our past guests while you're suggesting a guest. Muffing this. As well as read our social media, Social Blade style posts, as we are definitely posting a lot more content to the site, even stuff ahead of Mashable, Read Write Web, or techmunch.com. Don't forget.
Nice one. Yeah.
And
we want to thank Bridget.
No.
We want to thank Bridget.
We don't care about Bridget. Drill Down Wednesday nights, 6:30 p.m., 9:30 Eastern. Band on the Web, Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern, 11:30 in Newfoundland. All right, fine. Thank you, Bridget Ayers. You are social media and all that good stuff. No, seriously, thank you, Bridget. You are wonderful.
Well, we'll find out why Bridget is social media though this week, right? She's committed to this podcast.
We sure will. She was not able to defend herself. So she's committed by default. I love that.
Nice.
Yeah, committed by default. Thank you, audience. You wonderful people. Anybody who's watching the show live, watching on YouTube, watching on our site now or later, which is kind of awkward. If I'm talking to you now, but now is later for you, which is not. It's the future for me, and the past is me now for you.
Kind of how I feel all the time here in Newfoundland.
Exactly. If you don't understand any of that, you can just go to our sponsor, hothardware.com, and they can explain and answer any questions about anything in the space-time continuum, especially if it pertains to hardware. Don't forget, come see us every single Thursday other than holidays, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. You're here on the show at socialblade.com/show because we are Social Blade.